Like a patient drill master, he opens the piece with a single two-phrase theme in adagio tempo, repeated over and over until all the dancers have filed onto the stage. The subject is not really death, it's Elysian bliss, and its setting is eternity. The long, slow, repeated sequence creates the impression of a grand crescendo that seems to annihilate time. No reason it could not go on forever. The shoulders are raised square to break the continuity of the silhouette, to make the arms dangle as a separate entity, and make the head independently wobbly as a puppet's is, on no neck to speak of. The head here does not sum up or direct the action of the body. It seems to have only a minor, a pathetic function. The style which is considered the most tony is to keep the head back at an angle of just 10 degrees from the perpendicular, with a most melancholy expression, as if mourning the death of a lifelong companion, or as if dreaming of a far-off country. He rolls his hips to one side. He rolls them so far that his torso tilts in counterbalance, his ankles sickle over, and his whole body bends in an S-curve of improbable depth. He reverses the shape, first turning slowly, then at twice and 4 times the speed. The smaller, quicker undulations making him slither sideways on one foot. His trailing leg embroiders the glide with lariat-like curlicues. But what draws the viewer's eye hypnotically is the motor, the spiraling, snaking motion of those hips. The thighs are as full of tenderness as another dancer's face. Single shuffle, double shuffle, cut and cross-cut, snapping his fingers, rolling his eyes, turning in his knees, presenting the backs of the legs in front, spinning about on his toes and heels like nothing but the man's fingers on the tambourine. You watch her body slowly descend. Her foot and leg pointing stiffly downward till her toes reach the floor. and she rests her full weight on the single sharp point and pauses. It is the effect at that moment of a deliberate and powerful plunge into a wound. A leap is a whole story, with a beginning, middle, and end. The action of a leap increases in speed till the dancer leaves the ground, then it diminishes till it reaches the leap's highest point in the air. Here, if the dance is to give a feeling of soaring, she must be completely still. She must express the calm of the moment. The most obvious test for the dancer comes in the descent from the air, in the recovery from the leap. She has to catch herself in a knee bend that begins with the speed she falls at and progressively diminishes so evenly that you don't notice the transition from the air to the ground. It is easy to see why the grand jeté, along with its ilk, had to be abandoned. One cannot do a grand jeté. One must dance it to get it done at all, i.e. invest it with all the necessary nuances of energy distribution that will produce a look of climax together with a still suspended extension in the middle of the movement. Like a romantic, overblown plot, this particular kind of display, with its emphasis on nuance and skilled accomplishment, its accessibility to comparison and interpretation, its involvement with connoisseurship, its introversion, narcissism, and self-congratulatoriness, has finally, in this decade, exhausted itself, closed back on itself, and perpetuates itself solely by consuming its own tail. Nothing could be fuller, more round and rich and brimming than the flow of dance energy in this piece. It never quickens, it never halts, it flows and flows like honey from the vine. Yet it is dispensed, for the most part, in small, polite, fastidious gestures. The fortunate thing in dancing is that space and time cannot be disconnected.
The dance came out to have a great deal of turning in it,
and everyone can see and understand that,
which was upsetting to the dancers.
A body still is taking up just as much space and time as a body moving.
I can't turn.
The result is that neither moving or being still is more or less important.
I can't turn. How do you turn?
Except it's nice to see a dancer moving. A prevalent feeling among painters that lets them make a space in which anything can happen is a feeling dancers may have too. Imitating the way nature makes a space and puts lots of things in it, heavy and light, little and big, all unrelated, yet each affecting the others. There is also a tendency to imply a crisis to which one goes and then some way retreats from. Now, I can't see that crisis any longer means a climax, unless we are willing to grant that every breath of wind has a climax, which I am. But then that obliterates climax, being a surfeit of such. And since our lives, both by nature and by the newspapers, are so full of crisis that one is no longer aware of it, then it is clear that life goes on regardless, and further that each thing can be and is separate from each and every other, vis-a-vis the continuity of the newspaper headlines. Climax is for those who were swept up by New Year's Eve. The dancers walk or run, shifting direction with a light hop. The choreography looks as though it could be danced by anybody with a little daring and bounce and a knack for virtuoso timing. All other forms of virtuosity have been ruled out. Sometimes the dancers are on all fours, clustering like sheep. At other times, they are flat on the floor, lying there, or rolling convulsively. A boy lies on his side, and a girl walks all over him, stepping from ankle to knee to hip to shoulder, as from peak to peak of a mountain range. Or the logic accumulates a tidal force that pounds steadily at a single effect, as in the finale, which is a paroxysm of slides and rolls across the floor. The dancers, crashing wave upon wave into those slides, have a happy, insane spirit that recalls a unique moment in American life, the time we did the school play, or were ready to drown in the swimming meet, the last time most of us were happy in that way. It is about American distance, that equalizing yet comfortless space which separates Americans from Americans under the neutral American sky. It is about the lack of perimeters and journeys pressing on despite that lack. It is about situations, not destinations. And in it, the stage is a box with no sides. Dancers come and go and disappear and seem to fall off the edges into eternity.